Hey guys, I'm going to come and show you how you can follow these instructions to make the make and take kits I'm making, or if you're just following along at home, you can use this video to also learn how to paint from a stencil vinyl. So first you're going to start with your stencil that you've got. I have already pre-weeded all of these, so I've taken out everything that you don't need so that this is ready to just be used purely as a stencil. There won't be any weeding or anything like that for you guys to do. So this is all. The one I'm using as an example. You'll have that in your kit. You'll have a piece of this. It's just a clear transfer sheet. You're going to have your board that I've made and pre-stained or painted, whichever you've requested. You'll have paintbrushes. You'll have this little thing. It's a squeegee or whatever you want to call it, a scraper tool. And then I've given everybody little things of individual colors of paints that coordinate with your theme. Mine I've already just poured into my own little painter's disc. You can use yours right out of the tubs, that's fine. Excuse me. So the first step is you're going to take this clear sheet. I know it's white right now because it has a backing on it. So just kind of fold the edge over a little bit so that you can peel this away. I usually flip it over and peel the white away from it. Please keep in mind that this is incredibly sticky, so whatever it sticks to, it's stuck. Okay, this you won't need, so set it aside. And then you're going to take up your sticky sheet. This is the sticky side. And it is going to go onto your stencil piece. This does not have to be exact. It's okay if it's not. But I fold mine up kind of like a taco, as you can see there, and try to just kind of center it as best as I can over my stencil and then set it down. Once it's there, it's stuck. And then just slowly fold it down like that. And then smooth with your hands. It's okay if you don't get this perfectly square on there. You'll see at the bottom here, I did not get all the way to the bottom. I didn't get all the way to the edge. At the top, I'm over a little bit. It's okay. So this is where you're going to use your squeegee tool and just smooth out your air bubbles on your piece. Just going all the directions. Give it a good smooth. All right, that usually does it. The less sticky your mat is, or the less sticky your transfer vinyl is, then sometimes you got to smooth it even more. But this should do it since it's a brand new sheet. These clear pieces are reusable. So if you've ordered more than one kit and I've only given you like one sheet of this, it's because you can, once we peel it off, you can reuse it. Okay, so now you're going to flip your entire image over. And starting from one of the corners, kind of pull your clear off. You want your stencil to come with it. So kind of try to grab with your nail. You're going to try to grab the corner of your stencil as well. And then staying down as low as you can. So instead of pulling up like this, you're going to pull backwards. Staying as low as you can, you are going to peel this away. If you see there what I'm doing. Now if you look close, part of my lettering just came up, part of my stencil. To fix that, we want everything to stick to that clear sheet we started with. You're going to just push it back down until it sticks. And like I kind of fold the stencil and push it down and then keep rolling back. As long as you go slowly, this is not hard. Now, if you flip it over and try to pull this away, it's going to be harder. So always start with the white backing and pull away gently. And pushing your stencil down back onto the transfer as you go. The more you smooth, the less this happens for pieces to not want to adhere properly to your transfer vinyl. So you can take more time and smooth it if you want. If you're finding like you're getting a lot of pieces not sticking well, just flip the whole image over again. Like this. Because I do that wrong. You can just flip the whole thing over and grab your squeegee and smooth it a little bit better. Sometimes the more intricate pieces don't always want to stick the best the first time. That's okay, you're not going to hurt anything to go smooth it back over. And then flip it over and keep going. Like I said, just slow and easy. I teach classes doing this, but since it's COVID season, people aren't wanting to really attend classes. So this is the next best thing, to kind of have a recorded instructor be able to walk you through each step. If you are like, what just happened? I did something wrong, I think. Just stop the video and rewind it and see what you missed out on. So I get all the way down. There's my white part. It's garbage. Just get rid of that piece. Okay, now you want to pull this out of the way. Normally at home, obviously, you're going to have a work surface that's a little larger. I'm trying to stay in front of the camera. So on your board that you're going to use, just clean off the top. You don't want it to be dusty or anything, because then you're going to have dust in your paint. So clear it off the best you can. Then you're going to take this, holding it up. This is the trickiest part of the whole thing, and it's still not that hard, but you want to, as best you can, center this on your board. I try to give everybody a generous allowance on their board so that you don't have to get completely to the edge. Since the clear is see-through, you can tell on your edges whether your vinyl is actually on the board or if it's gone over, because you can see through it. So then I just kind of set it without pressing it down. I'm just looking at it going, does it seem like it might be centered? And since I know my actual original vinyl piece, so in this one, the brown piece, I cut square. I can kind of look, does it seem like it's square on the board? The grid lines won't necessarily help me because I didn't get the grid on there square. If you haven't pressed it down hard, chances are this will carefully peel up a little bit for you to reposition. So when you first set it down, don't smooth it out to see if you're on there right. Just barely set it there and then kind of look around on your board and, you know, am I looking pretty good, or do I need to scoot it over a little bit? So I'm square across the bottom, but it looks like I am almost to the edge on one side of the board, but I have more space on the other, so I'm going to try to pull it over a little. And now I'm going to call it good. I'm still not perfectly square, but it's my project, so as long as I like it, it doesn't really matter whether I'm perfect or not. That's a big thing to keep in mind when you're crafting, is you don't have to be perfect. Don't stress about being perfect. Just make it yours. Okay, now that I'm on there the way I want to be, I'm just gently smoothing it down with my hands. And then you're going to use your squeegee again and really get it on there good. Because we're going to be pulling the clear sheet off of it now. And we want the stencil vinyl to stick to our wood. All right, so because my stencil vinyl is a little bigger than my wood, what I have to do is carefully separate the clear again. The same as we did before, we're going to peel as close as we can to the board. Instead of pulling up like this on the whole stencil, that's going to lift the stencil up as well. I'm going to hold the stencil down and just peel the clear away as best as I can. See how I'm doing that close to the board there? If a little piece of your stencil sticks too well to the clear, that's okay. Just push it back down like we did the other time. And you can come over here and grab the other edge and do the same thing. Because we want to be able to reuse this, if you've made more than one order and you want to reuse this, try not to let it stick to each other. So you can't really tell, I don't think on the video, but I have a little piece here that stuck to my transfer vinyl instead of my picture. So I'm just going to push that down into the wood a little bit better and see if I can peel it back again. There we go. And now it's back to the wood and it's not sticking to me. peeling this off. There we go, I got that off. And so this part, like I said, it's reusable, so I just try to lay it out flat and take that original white piece that we took off of this one. It has a smooth side, like a smooth shiny side, and a not shiny side. You want to adhere the shiny side back to your vinyl, to your transfer vinyl, so you can save it. If you're only doing one project, then don't worry about saving it. Just toss it aside. I just do that, and then I roll it up for a later use. And we'll set that aside. Okay, so you're gonna take your squeegee one more time and just gently smooth out, because if you have air bubbles where your lettering is, then your paint is gonna get up underneath of that, and we don't want that, otherwise you have smeared letters. If you have air bubbles like over here in the space where there is no lettering or anything, those are okay because they're not gonna interfere with the letters or where the paint's going to be. So that's all. Pretty simple with that. Just smooth it out. It may not be 100% perfect. That's okay. Again, it's your project. Nothing has to be perfect. Okay, so we've got that process done. Now we go to the painting. This is probably the longest part because usually you need a couple of coats of the paint in order to have it thick enough to show through the wood. It's all in how see-through you want it to be, how many coats you need, but we're just going to start painting. Get your paint, and you're just going to paint right over that stencil wherever it is that you're wanting. Now, if you're wanting the next line to be a different color or something, just be careful not to paint into that next, like this Y, I'm gonna make a different color, so I'm just being careful not to get my paint that far down on my lettering. You don't have to be perfect, just keep it on the vinyl. That's the biggest thing. If you look, I'm gonna try to see. If you look, I have this thin strip right here that the vinyl didn't end up covering the wood. I don't wanna get any paint up there because that's my raw wood, and we're not gonna get that back off of the wood. So that's the only part you have to be careful of. We're just gonna go through here. Again, whatever colors you're wanting to paint. I try to give everybody a little variety of paint colors. If you have a specific color you've asked for, then obviously follow the choices you've made. I'm taking the time to also do instructions on it. Feel free, if you need to fast forward through parts like me tearing this off. You obviously don't need to see me tearing it off, so you could fast forward through that part. I should have waited on mine to be a little drier because I've got a little, couple little blur marks, but that's okay. So you get the idea. I'm not going to keep showing as I pull all of this off. I'm going to let it dry a little bit longer. When you get done though, what you do is, so obviously there's places that you have to peel center pieces out. Once you're completely dry, you can use like the edge of a pair of scissors, you could use fingernails, you can use a pin, needle, anything like that. But you're just going to gently reach in there and pop the areas out that you don't need, like the centers of letters and stuff. You're going to pull those up. I'm not doing it right now because my vinyl is still too wet to do it. But you would just reach in there. I'm trying to see if there's one that's dry enough that I can show. Like my S up here. See how my S still has the little curl in it? So I'm just going to reach in there with my nail and loosen it up, and then just peel that out. See, now it's all clear again. So that's all you guys got to do. I will give this video to each person who has purchased a package. Thanks, guys.